Hey everybody, it's just me. I thought I would just do a little video about, just I'm not doing a movie review tonight. I just thought I'd get truthful and honest with everybody about my life, and I don't know, just thought that maybe if I put this out into the world, that maybe I could get some help. Anyway, I've gone into a little bit of, I think in the past I've gone a little bit into about my past a little bit. And anyway, I just thought I would dive a little bit deeper into it. So anyway, I'm feeling all kinds of ways. Today is December. What is today? Today's December 8th. It's 4 days past my wife's birthday. And for anybody that knows me, that basically has followed me on Twitter for a long time, they know that my wife passed away 4 years ago, and it was under a lot of weird circumstances. And all I know is that we were going through. We're going through a lot. My wife and I are both recovering addicts, and we both had gotten clean on July 10th, 2010, and right around 2015, my wife started suffering from a lot of mental health issues, and we had been going to a marriage counselor at that time as well to try and help revive the marriage, resuscitate the marriage. And because at that time we were both separated. She was living with a friend of hers from the program that was in our 12-step fellowship, our home group. I don't know why it took me a while to come up with that word, but yeah, they were in our home group. And so my wife, she started living with this person, and we had basically started going to marriage counseling, and I did a lot of work on myself to try and fix the marriage and get her to try and come home. To be honest with you, before that, I don't know, it was just crazy. It was during that time I just didn't know if I wanted to be married anymore. And so because there had been a lot of stuff that had been going on leading up to that point. And so I told her that I thought we should basically get separate, have a separation at that moment in time and gesture, because just things were just not working out. And so we separated from I guess she moved out a little after January of 2015, and then at that time I was, I was, out and about, dating again, and I had, but I hadn't slept with anybody, I was just dating people and seeing where it went from there, and the whole 9 yards, because I was just really confused at that moment of time in my life. I had just gotten fired from my job of working as a addictions counselor at a methadone clinic for about 2 years, and my mental health wasn't very good at that time because the burnout from working that job. I don't know if anybody's ever worked that kind of job, but you had to be like there from like 5 o'clock in the morning until like 11 o'clock in the morning every day, Monday through Friday. And not only that, but I had to work Sundays too, so I was basically there 6 days a week. And so it just really took a toll on my mental health. And not only that, but we had been basically going through a lot of stuff in our marriage at that time. I just basically got licensed to become a real estate agent in May of 2014, and I was trying to support us, work 2 jobs, go to school for social work, and I don't know. I mean, like, and not only that, but like my wife was also going, like, she had a major surgery in April of 2000, I think it was 14, maybe it was April 2013, I don't remember. It had to be April 2014. She had a major surgery where she had a gastric sleeve done, where they cut like 80% of her stomach out, and leading up to that was, a whole, bit of stress in itself. And so it was just, like a lot of stuff was piling on all at one time. And she had just gotten her license to sell real estate, I think, in August of that year. And then we went to a seminar to try and, learn how to work the business. And I don't know, like on the way home, when she told me something about, how she had gone ahead without, consulting me on something that we had discussed on the way there, that since we were going to be business partners and going forward with stuff, that she would, that we would, like talk to each other before we made any rash decisions. And to find out, that she went ahead and she made a decision without me when I was in the bathroom, after she told me, 2 weeks before, that like when I did the same thing, that I was, stupid for doing it, we couldn't afford it, and I need to get out of my contract, and blah, blah, blah. And she went ahead and did the same thing. It just really, really pissed me off and really upset me, because, here she was supposed to be my partner, and instead, I felt like whatever she wanted to do was always a good idea. Whatever I basically said anything, I was always made to feel like I was an idiot or stupid. And I was legitimately afraid of things. So anyway, the reason why I'm getting into this story is because, we went to marriage counseling afterwards. But during that time period, I was dating somebody else. And one night we were watching a stupid movie. I think it was American Wedding. And Jim was contemplating on whether or not he really made, or was it American Reunion? Whatever. I think it was American Reunion. I think Jim was contemplating on whether or not he made the right decision in marrying Michelle. And so they were really, at a like, at a crossroads in their relationship and their lives as well. And when you got to the end, like, Jim, like, basically realizes, that Michelle was always perfect for him from the get-go, and he made the right decision. And, like, he basically he went up to her and he's like, you know what, I always wondered if I made the right decision or something like that, and, like, by basically going with the band geek. And he was like, it took me a long time to realize, but I'm a band geek too. I just never joined the band, and I want to always be your band geek type thing. And I mean, it was really stupid, but it was really, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. And to watch that, like, I felt like it was a sign from God, like, telling me that I should really try and work on my marriage and get back together with my wife and work it out. Because, I mean, like, I felt like, that we were always meant for each other. Like, she was who I was. She was like the female version of me, I felt like, for a long time. And so that's what I did. I mean, I went and I found this, like, really well-renowned, marriage counselor that was in town that charged, like, up the ass per hour. And, like, I worked and I worked and I worked and I did everything I could to try and, revive our marriage. And finally, like, to the point where May of 2015, after, like, 6-month separation, we had reconciled. That was the word I was looking for, reconciliation. We reconciled, and she moved back in. But I mean, during that time period, like, she started going to see a psychiatrist. And when I was with the marriage counselor suggested that I go see this psychiatrist that she recommended. So I went and I started seeing him, and my wife was basically in between, like, one of those places that basically, diagnoses you and tries to help you find a psychiatrist, but it's not really permanent type situation. So anyway, what happened was that my wife, like, since I was already a client of this other guy, I was like, why don't you just start going to see the guy I'm seeing, or whatever. So anyway, she starts to go see him, and I'm noticing, like, over time that she's not getting better, and she's progressively getting, like, from what I'm seeing, like, progressively getting worse, like, mentally, like, mental health wise, to the point where it seemed like she was getting high off her medication. And just like I said, we're both recovering addicts. At that time, we both had 8 years. We both had, like, going on 8 years clean/sober. And I just noticed, that she was like taking, like, a medicine cabinet full of pills per day. And I mean, I even went to the psychiatrist and I told him that I thought that she was over medicated, and that I was really worried about the situation. And even one night, like, she had actually, her body had an adverse reaction to her medication, and it actually, like, seized up on her, and she couldn't move, and, like, she couldn't talk. She basically, like, her body was like a block of granite, and she couldn't do anything. So, and I, in the middle of the night, had to basically try and pick her up and get her to the car and drive her to the emergency room in the middle of the night, because her body had such an adverse reaction to these medicines, all, like, basically mixed together. And so, I mean, I was really worried, about the whole thing. And so we get there to the emergency room, and I guess her body like loosens up finally, and she says she's okay, and then she didn't need to go to see the doctor or whatever, so she was adamant about having me drive her home. So we went home, and I told her that night that she really needed to talk to the psychiatrist and get this stuff sorted out, because this wasn't good. This was scary. It was getting to be a really frightening point. And so she said she would, and I don't know if she did or not, because like, even though I allowed her to be a part of my treatment, like signed off on waivers and stuff like that for her to be a part of my treatment, I don't think she ever signed off on the fact that I was allowed to be a part of her treatment. And so anyway, some time goes by. She told me that she was put on some new medicines, and I don't know, I was still noticing that there was frightening things going on with her and the medicines. It still seemed like it was too much, especially for somebody that had a surgery where her stomach couldn't absorb nutrients like it once did when it was fully intact. Like, she had to take, vitamins every day she had to take vitamins every day to basically, make sure that she didn't like become anemic, because the way her body after the surgery happens, like, because I did all the seminars with her. Once you have this body, like this extreme surgery done, your body absorbs nutrients differently. So instead of, basically it absorbing like 80% or whatever, or 90%, I believe like her body was, absorbing like 30% of like the nutrients, like of what her food and everything was taking in. So with vitamins that she was supposed to have been taking, it was supposed to help, absorb like 70% of the nutrients of at least the vitamins that she was taking. So anyway, the psychiatrist, I felt like he should have known this kind of stuff with the fact about like the medicines that he was putting her on, and not only that, but he also with the medicines that she was on, I felt like nowadays, like looking back on it, like he was giving her like bags and bags of free samples of medicines, because he was saying he was trying to keep the costs down. But quite frankly, I think now, looking back on it, I think that it was basically to try and cover his butt in case something happened, like if she basically died under his care. And I went and I tried to basically go after the guy. So yeah, so he was giving her like bags and bags and bags of free samples, because that way he didn't have to report it and send it off to the pharmacy, and it's not like written up, in case something happens. Because I worked in the medical field for a little while, and I remember having to write notes for clients every month, so I know a little bit about it. I might not be a psychiatrist or anything, or a doctor or whatever, but I do know some of the things that went on. And so, anyway, I just got to a point in our life, in our lives, where I woke up one day and I realized, that I wasn't happy, and my wife was sleeping like 17 hours a day. That wasn't a life anymore. I went to her multiple times to try and get her to go and seek treatment and seek help for her issues, because at that point, like, I knew that she had more than just mental health issues, that she was, like, addicted to her medicines. And she was, getting high off her pills. And so, yeah. Anyway, what happened was, that, like, I gave her an ultimatum, just like she gave me an ultimatum about, like, if you don't do certain things, then the marriage is over. I mean, we had a discussion beforehand, like, when we first got clean and sober, that if either one of us, basically relapsed, that the relationship was over. And so, and she was putting my sobriety and everything at risk. And so, I had a discussion with her, and I gave her an ultimatum, and she didn't do what was asked. And after she said that she would, and I realized, that she wasn't going to fight for the marriage like I did. And so, I just had to tell her that basically, like, we had to separate again. And so she went to live with her brother for the last 4 months of her life. And I even went to her parents before all this happened too, and her parents were supposed to have, like done an intervention with her about things, because I told them about what was going on, about like what I was scared about. Because nobody should be sleeping 17 hours a day, and it wasn't a life at that point. I wanted my wife back. Like, the person that was living there wasn't my wife anymore. It was somebody that was disguised as my wife. And so, like 4 months went by, and then while she was with my brother-in-law, I get a phone call September 13th, 2019 at like, I always remember, it was like 9:47 at night on the 13th, 13 minutes before 10 o'clock, that I got a phone call from my brother-in-law telling me that he had gotten home at like a couple hours, like basically like at around 8 o'clock, and he found her unresponsive and called the EMTs, and by the time the EMTs got there, she was gone. And so, anyway, I'm bringing this up now because I'm basically talking to the void to see if maybe, I don't know, to try and see if somebody could try and help me along the way of trying to find out if there's something that I could do to try and go after this doctor that I feel like, murdered my wife. Because to be honest with you, I've felt nothing but guilt for the last 4 years about what's happened to her. And I want justice for her, because the autopsy came back and it was like, yeah, it was an overdose of her pills, but we're not sure if it was on purpose or if it was by accident. And quite frankly, I think it was by accident, and so did the EMTs. The EMTs said that there were too many pills in her pill bottle for there to have been bad blood to have gone on, like for her to have done anything. And not only that, but like when my brother-in-law gave me back her computer, I was able to get into her email, and my wife there at the end, like her memory was so bad that she basically, she would have to send herself notes. What 34-year-old do you know with a healthy mind has to basically, send themselves like reminders and notes and stuff like that all the time about everything? We'd have a discussion about something, and then, like 10 or 15 minutes later, she couldn't remember anything that we had talked about. And so, like, when I saw that she had sent herself an email that was like screenshots of, I guess, like text messages between her and the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist had basically told her to change the method, like the frequency of her pill regimen from what it was from taking it at night to doing it in the morning. And to see that she had sent this email, like, of her pill regimen, of her changed up pill regimen, the day that she died. It was dated September 13th, like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was like, here's my pill layout schedule. And I don't know if I'll just upload this like unedited, or I'll send this to Matt to try and get him to get it to edit it for me, to basically put the pill schedule regimen in there to show what exactly she was on. But it was a lot. There was like, I mean, a couple benzos in there, and a whole mixture of things. And my wife, anyway, the point of the matter is my wife never had a chance. She never had a chance. She'll always be 34 years old. I'm 36 now. 4 days ago would have been her 39th birthday, and I miss her every day. I miss my wife every fucking day. And everybody I talk to keeps telling me that there's nothing I can do. Even though in my heart of hearts, I know that this doctor murdered my wife. Absolutely murdered her. I mean, I went to him with, my concerns about her pills 2 years prior. And I even went, and nobody wanted to listen to me. Not until it was too late. And then next thing I know, I'm going to see him again in America to try and get a psychiatrist without, being on a list. It's crazy. So I went back to see him, and then when I went to go back to see him, he tried to paint me as a schizophrenic by putting me on a medication that was that he said that had like little to no side effects for people with bipolar disorder, with like no weight gain and sexual stuff and blah blah blah. And it was supposed to help me with the stuff that was going on with my head at that time, because I just wasn't in a good mindset at that time in May of 2020. But he was really curious about, the documents I found from the other place that basically said my wife wasn't bipolar, and he's trying to sit there and say that she was because she died from an overdose of the bipolar medication. And so, come to find out, the medication he tried to put me on was for schizophrenics that had just come out in December of 2019. And apparently there had never been anybody with bipolar disorder that had been tested with this medication. So he was trying to paint me as a schizophrenic in case like I ever tried to probably go after him and sue him. And my therapist was like, Michael, you're 32 years old. You're too old to be diagnosed as a schizophrenic. And I know for a fact you're not schizophrenic. He's like, if you take this medicine, I will basically have to, report this, because this is not right. Because, I took in this is how I found out about everything. I didn't want to take anything until I talked to my therapist about it, because my therapist has known me for over 20 years. And so my therapist looked over everything in the same purple bag that he would always give my wife. And we came up with the conclusion that I was not going to take this medicine. And I think I threw it away. He told me to throw it away, and I believe I threw it away. Anyway, point of the matter is love your loved ones. You never know when the last time you'll talk to them is. I've been missing my player 2 for the last 4 year. And even before that, the last, it's pretty much 6 years. Because, before she lost herself on these medicines. And I'm not saying nobody should take medicine. I'm just saying be careful. Because in this situation, my wife got hooked because she's a recovering addict, and she never came back. And so if anybody knows anything to, try to help me, I would really appreciate it. Or get me in contact with somebody that could help me, I would really appreciate it. I mean, I'd really like to try and get something, like some kind of closure for my wife. Because I know she didn't do it on purpose. I know she didn't want to die. I know she wanted to continue to keep living, and I know she wants me to continue to keep living too, but it's hard. Every day it's hard. The pain is hard. I feel guilty every fucking day. Like I have survivor's guilt, feeling like it should have been me. Because the medicine that she basically died on was the medicine I had tried to unalive myself 14 years ago. And I mean, here I was, deliberately trying to do it, and here she was, just taking her medicine as prescribed, and she just collapses and never gains consciousness. And then, leaves a whole mess in the process with, her family, and leaves a mess in my life. So this doctor's done a lot of damage to me and everybody else that's concerning with this case, and who knows how many other people he's hurting. So anyway, that's me getting real with you all, and I'm probably gonna run out of storage space on my phone with this, so I guess I'm gonna have to cut this short. But anyway, that's my story. So anyway, I'd really like if somebody like Swoop or something like that, or Cruel World Healthy Mind, like help me out with this or something like that, because I know I'm a small YouTuber, and I know everybody I've talked to doesn't want to take on my case and doesn't want to listen to me. And I want this guy to stop, because I mean, who knows how many other people he's hurting. I mean, he killed my wife and left me with, a thing of ashes I have to look at every day, like right by my bedroom door. My wife and I got married, going on our wedding anniversary would have been it was on the 21st. This year would have been our 11th year wedding anniversary, and when I got married, that was the happiest day of my life. I was looking forward to life. Everything was right there in front of me. It seemed like we were gonna grow old together, only for that to be stolen away from me, and have to go through every anniversary alone after that point. Anyway, I mean, I'm so cold to this whole thing now from crying so much over the years that I guess I just can't cry about it anymore. So anyway, that's everything. Hope you have a good night and have a good Friday. Thanks for watching.